Hello everyone, Russ of Aquarimax Pets here. These are my Pure Line magic potions, Armadillidium vulgare magic potion, sent to me directly from Kyle Candillion, who along with Jay Fiore was the founder of this morph. Jay Fiore discovered some specimens, sent them to Kyle, and Kyle isolated and refined these, and they are absolutely gorgeous. They differ from the so-called Japanese magic potion in that these were based on stock collected in Georgia in the USA. The stock tends to grow larger, grow slower, breed more slowly than most, and it has a lot of yellow coloration because Kyle selectively bred it for the yellow coloration. This poor guy, or gal, I don't know, having trouble writing itself. He selectively bred for this yellow coloration, and so it is quite a bit different. The Japanese magic potion tends to be smaller in body size, breeding rate's probably different, and hasn't been selectively bred for the yellow. So probably should be called Japanese Dalmatian or something like that to distinguish from this stock. So I got the founding stock of my magic potions from Kyle Candillion in November of 2023, and I've separated it already into two different bins, but it's time to upgrade this bin because it is full of isopods. If you look here, you can see, if I move back, there are a lot of them everywhere. Oh, look at that, that's gorgeous. I love that. That should be the thumbnail right there, huh? And I'm going to move them into a new bin, a bigger one. They're going from the 6-quart tub to a 16-quart, so they don't get overcrowded. Yeah, so here's their new home, a 16-quart bin. I'm going to start scooping them out. I'm going to move a lot of the original substrate into this new bin. That's often a good thing to do. But I'm just going to set that down in there and start to get them moved over. I'm going to try to get most of the original substrate into this side here. Have to move a lot of leaf litter. Have to move a lot of moss. The moss is full of isopods too, so there's that. Have to be careful not to lose any. Don't want to drop any. They're just everywhere in this bin. Very good timing, I think, on moving them up, because if you wait too long, you can have issues with an overcrowded bin. You can deal with the ecological phenomenon known as overshoot, where population is using resources so fast and growing so fast that suddenly it reaches a point where the resources decline swiftly, and so does the population. We don't want that. You can also shock isopods by moving them onto entirely new substrate too quickly. Look, there's a bunch of them in here. Substrate's probably full of them too, as I excavate it out of this bin and move it into the other one. And so we want to make sure that we don't do that. Don't want to shock them with new substrate entirely, so basically all of their old substrates going into this bin. It's just going along one side, and that will help ease the transition. From the standpoint of pH may be an issue with that. There's also the microbial population in the old substrate that will help inoculate the new substrate. There's a lot of reasons why you should be careful about such things. I'm going to put a bunch of leaf litter there, and then I'm just going to start scooping out handfuls of substrate and dropping them in. And you can see that the substrate is pretty full of little magic potions of various sizes. In my opinion, this is the easiest and best way to change the substrate, because you're not actually getting rid of any of the substrate. You can't do this indefinitely, obviously, because then you'd just be increasing the size of your isopod enclosure every time you did it. But when you can afford to do this, when you're upgrading from, say, a 6-quart to a 16-quart, it's really nice to be able to do it and know that this is you're not losing any isopods, and that you're giving them the best possible chance of thriving, because they're taking their old home with them in effect, as far as the substrate goes. And the substrate really is home for the isopods, if you include, especially if you include not just the base substrate, but the leaf litter layer and whatnot, then, and especially the hides. Hopefully you can see. There are all kinds of isopods, as well as springtails in this substrate, as I move it over. And I'm going to cover this back over with leaf litter. I'm not too worried about the fact that I'm burying a bunch of these, because I am. There's no doubt about that as I do this. But most of them were already buried, and I'm not packing it down or anything, so they'll easily do just fine. It's not going to be an issue for them. They'll unbury themselves if needed, and if not, they'll stay buried until they want to surface. It's not an issue. Not bad for the springtails either, as long as you make sure you're not crushing anybody. I gotta say, I like this substrate and enclosure that Pedro's Pod sent me to test out some time ago, about the time that I put everybody in this enclosure. I'll definitely be reusing that enclosure. It's a nice one. And I can put this leaf litter back out of the way a little bit so it's not covering up the food and the feeding dish as much. Get this spread out properly. I think I'll put the feeding dish right there. Put some more leaf litter in. This is mostly calorie pear with some maple added. Might be a few other things in there. And I don't want to just put maple in there, that's not good. I'm going to put this nice concave piece of cork bark in there. And we're going to call that good. I'm going to turn this over just so you can take a look at these guys. Thank you for watching today. I hope you enjoyed my rehousing of these magic potions. I post videos every Friday with live streams and shorts during the week as well. Please feel free to share, rate, comment, and if you haven't already, subscribe. And then tap the bell for all notifications so you don't miss my next video. There's a bunch on this piece right here. They're just beautiful. I don't know. There may not be a more beautiful isopod out there. I find them very beautiful. I think they are my favorite Armadillidium vulgare. I don't think there's any doubt about that. These Pure Line Magic Potions. Thanks again to Kyle at Roach Crossing for sending me this stock. They sure are beautiful.